Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Our research-backed videos are engaging, easy to follow, and they help ease the daily challenges like agitation and anxiety so that you can focus on connection and joy. Available by subscription on mobile and TV apps, Zinnia makes every day a little bit easier. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation, as usual, as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort.
Here we go. What you think about, you will bring about dementia change. We will.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and today we're going to be having a great conversation with creators of Echobox, which is a memory vault. And they're going to tell us all about how this got started, why they felt it was important, where they're at today, which they've grown substantially, and where they want to see the future grow in terms of helping loved ones care for one another and to remove some isolation and improve mental health and feeling purposeful and heard. So many things the Echobox does that I think you'll find just absolutely fascinating. So before I introduce you to them, I always like to just say, hey, go check out Alzheimer Speaks to our free educational resource tab. There you'll find all kinds of things to support somebody living with dementia, somebody caring for them if they're a professional or they're a family member, and also just the public in general. If you want to become dementia friendly, there's just so many different things that you can tap into there. And then don't forget about our Dementia Map, which is our global resource directory, which is our sister company as well. There you can find some global resources because, again, everything doesn't have to be in your backyard the way the internet works these days. Let's go ahead and talk with Tim and Tannis. Well, folks, as I told you, I'm really excited to have this couple with us. They have developed something I think really unique and really helpful to anyone who is caring for a loved one, especially somebody with dementia. But I mean, this can cross all different types of boundaries. I think you'll find in your world as well. So, Tim, I am going to have the two of you guys introduce yourselves and give us a little background about each of you, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you very much for having us on. Always amazing to have an opportunity to chat about the project. And I'm Tim Roberts, co-founder of Echobox. Kind of just fell into this just as a matter of circumstance. I'm more of an artist and musician, and was working out of the toolbox doing some commercial maintenance work for our company. And basically, after an idea kind of fell upon us after seeing a video, we tried to invent something, and the journey continues. And this is my lovely wife, Tannis. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm Tannis Roberts, and I'm the co-founder of Echobox. My background is more, I was in the library system for the last 20 some odd years. And had been working part-time with Echobox, but it just started racing off on us. And so ended up working full-time now with Tim, and we just work at home here from the kitchen table. And one of our passions is raising our two lovely daughters and traveling and camping whenever we can. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, can you give our audience a little background if you've been personally touched in your own family or circle of friends by someone living with dementia?
My grandparents, I was younger, so I didn't have that much immediate exposure to it. But yeah, my grandparents on my mother's side went through some dementia issues. I remember being very young and, hearing my grandfather in the other room being convinced to hush because there weren't, I think there was like a World War II scenario going on, and he kind of thought that there might have been an army in the hallway sort of thing. And so, I very limited, to be fair. We've just been the beneficiary of so many specialists, and we've learned so much through the course of our journey. But personally, fairly limited experience with dementia. And looking back on those times, I wish I knew more, and I wish I could have been of more of assistance instead of just kind of a passenger.
Yeah, and I have a similar story to Tim's, where again it was my grandfather, but we lived far away from them, and it was hard to visit them, so very limited exposure.
Okay. It's hard not to find somebody touched in some fashion, one way or the other. And I don't think we'll ever get away from the phrase, I wish I knew more to be able to help. Even though a lot of things have come on board. My mom lived with dementia for 30 years. She's been gone over 10 now. And I still feel that same way, even though I have so much more knowledge. I think when you're in the thick of it, it's never enough. And even when that knowledge base is there, it's like, what do you pick? What do you choose? How do you prioritize? How do you maintain your sanity and theirs along with everybody's dignity? That's just one of those things that we grapple with, I think, when we care for one another. Tim, can you talk about how the two of you got started? Usually I find something happens in people's life that triggers them to invent something.
Sure. Yeah. In our case, we were both working away and raising two children, like Tana said, and kind of busy just doing our own thing. We happened to see a video of an older gentleman who had lost his wife and then used the sound of her voice on the answering machine as a sense of comfort to get him through, some darker times, or if he just needed to put some wind in his sails, listen to the sound of her voice. And the video showed that the service provider had to revamp their system, and so everyone had to make a new greeting. But unfortunately for this gentleman, that meant that he lost the sound of his wife's voice. And so he must have complained enough that the service provider went through a great ordeal, but actually found the little ribbon of tech and was able to return that little recording to him. And so we saw his reaction and how much that meant to him. And it just kind of it hit home in a way where, we're empathetic, and we just started thinking, well, what would we do in that scenario, or what would seniors today do, or their caregivers or their families do if they wanted to capture their story in a way that social media only kind of tends to fail at, with privacy issues and all sorts of different things.
Initially, you were going to go to care homes and record seniors.
Yeah. It was originally, it was going to be an idea where we just thought, hey, well, why don't we just do some audio recording on the fly and put together little packages for people. A friend of ours said, oh, you need to, that's really cute, but you need to kind of go a little more, we scale that up a little bit. So yeah, we really came out of this out of nowhere, and we kind of put a pilot together that within about 15 or 16 months, a way to capture, stories and flavors and sights and memories and songs and movies, that sort of thing. And within with about a year and a half, I think we were on national TV here in Canada. And then that extended to getting a follow-up story on the BBC, because actually it was the BBC story that we originally saw the gentleman and his wife in that recording. So a year and a half, we were on international news, and that's kind of right when we thought we knew what we were doing, right?
We had it made.
But that's when, luckily and thankfully, we started hearing back from dementia care specialists, early onset Alzheimer's specialists, palliative care specialists, senior care as an umbrella, memory care, special needs children. It just seemed to explode out from under us. And that, even though that was about 3.5 years ago now, we had a lot of learning to do, a lot of listening to do. We've done so much research because we realized that, what started as a family digital legacy platform was quickly becoming a senior healthcare solution. We just didn't really know how to define it. And so it just took a lot of conversations with people like yourself, learning, just drinking through the fire hose, as they say, and learning as much as we could about the ins and outs and the successes and struggles of senior care.
Tannis, I question for you. There must have been a lot of highs and lows through this process. Like, yeah, we got it. Oh no, we don't.
Yeah, I think like any entrepreneur knows, it's a heck of a roller coaster ride, right? So, I mean, I think early on we learned that I don't really consider them lows as far as like exercises in patience, and learning to kind of to take those blows and just take it as a time to kind of take a deep breath and then reflect on what you have accomplished up to that point. But yeah, it's, you know, the entrepreneurship journey is not an easy one, and that's why not a lot of people do it.
Yeah, so case in point, back in 2021, we had just made international news, and we were just hearing from specialists and therapists the world over, really. So things were going really great. And at the exact same time, our original developing team fell apart. They couldn't support us anymore. And Tannis's father passed away that December. And so it was like the best of times and the worst of times. Impossible to really put your finger on, but we just kind of pushed through it. And much thanks to the ongoing advice and encouragement of people all around the world, we just kind of realized that this was something that we had to stick with and just see through to the end.
Well, those are two big major things, you know, losing your tech team and losing a loved one, you know, so close. But that's real life. I mean, that's what we deal with. And I think that's what makes people a true entrepreneur when they, you know, continue to push through. You might have to slow down and or put things on pause for a little bit, but the thought is still there, the creativity, the passion to make things, you know, come to life. Or a lot of people would just say, that's my sign. I'm out of here. And just walk away. You know, I love how Tannis, you framed lows as patience. You know, it's just another learning lesson. And, you know, when you can frame it in a positive light, that there is something to learn from all of those moments, because it makes it better in the long run. And it makes more people accepting and appreciative of what it is that you're doing, expanding the mission from probably what you thought it initially was going to be. I mean, who did you think it was going to be this big and you'd be talking internationally to people?
No, we ended up calling it Herbie the Love Bug because it just sort of took a life of its own on, and we're kind of just hanging on to its coattails, seeing where it takes us next.
We're getting better at explanatory introductions. It's like, yeah, we're in the room because, but you know, that's part of the charm. We really have, you know, it's kind of got a life of its own. And again, not to repeat myself, but I mean, it's much due to the involvement and help and guidance of all of the specialists and white collar, blue collar worker, everybody out there listening. You know, we just gained such a valuable perspective from your day-to-day experience, those who are willing to give us a little bit of their time and tell us what they think Echobox can do and guide us from areas that they think we should stay away from, because it's a lot more complicated than we thought. I mean, it's just a simple lovey-dovey idea, but all of a sudden we're talking HIPAA compliancy and, you know, it gets deep and serious really quickly. So, you know, it's the guidance has been amazing. And so for all of you out there, thank you very much.
Well, yeah, it's HIPAA, and then, you know, internationally they have different you know, tech, you know, things that have to be met versus in the States, and then you have taxes, you know, if you're selling stuff, and I mean, it goes on and on and on, and if you're getting grant money, and if you have to report to somebody, you know, a lot of those things can kind of take some of the fun out of it, you know, because you have to dive deep and really have to be grounded to kind of keep pushing through and go, okay, this is the way our world works, and this is what we need to do to be able to protect people and to bring this forward. So why don't we dive into what exactly does Echobox do, and how does it work, you know, and how is it different from other things that are out there? You had talked about music and stories and things like that, but let's dive in a little bit deeper so that we can learn a little bit more. Tim, if you want to take that, and then
Sure.
Tannis, you can always add on.
Yeah, I probably need you to interject here and there, but yeah, it's from 1,000 feet up, it's really just a platform to capture and categorize the little things that someone loves about life, and all those fleeting little recipes or favorite songs or stories about a fishing hole or a childhood adventure or a workplace accomplishment, all these little bits and pieces. We kind of thought, boy, it would be nice for a simple technology to wrap a bow around that as a digital legacy. But from the conversations we've had and through the research, it's just become obvious that these little PowerPoints of what makes us tick and what puts a smile on our face, to a caregiver and a senior, these are huge, important, not just conversation starters, but if you want to look at the cold, calculated way, at the end of the day, caregivers have a whole bunch of stuff they have to get done, and we want to make sure that it can be done in the most agreeable, friendly way possible. And so it provides these little information pieces about life, so that whether it's a family who wants to capture these things and honor their loved one, or whether it's a care team that wants to stay well informed and make sure that they get through change times, shower times, meal times, using songs and conversations and scents and flavors and that sort of thing, then it lands on its feet in a sort of pleasant way that can do something for a business, or it can do something for a family. And we're learning every day what else it can do. So, yeah.
Well, I like that you talk about the info piece, and that you talk about just the little things about life that make it pleasant. I think so often people go, well, it's their life story and it's this history, and it sounds like a big kind of heavy chunk sometimes for staff to have to learn, or even families sometimes. But when we talk about, let's just make this journey pleasant, let's identify those things using all the senses, because that helps all of us. And I think sometimes people don't realize when they're caring that when they leverage those things, like you said, you can maybe get somebody dressed faster, or out of bed, or in and out of the shower, or to a doctor's appointment, if they're in a good mood. We all move a little faster when we're in a good mood, and we have pushback when we're not.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
And so it really is about, I think, the dignity and the peacefulness and the connectivity of knowing one another, and how do we get what needs to be done, if we like it or not, because there's stuff in all of our lives that we don't like to do, but we still need to get through it. How do we make that happen in the easiest fashion and go in at it kind of as a team, or as a family? I think that approach is tremendously huge and makes such a big impact for people. The less resistance, the better off everyone is, and everyone's day goes a little bit better. And who knows, you might, during that period of time, come up with another thing that you have to capture that just became a favorite thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess it was an eye opener for us when it started to be called a tool, because it seemed very cold. We were coming from a loving little collection of thoughts and colors. And so we kind of thought, well, what kind of, how would it be a tool sort of thing? But then the more that we had conversations, and the more that we opened up our eyes to, it's not just about sentiment and nostalgia. It can regulate sleeping patterns and eating patterns and make, hopefully a team that is more well informed and that has this sort of grease to those gears. Maybe we can affect the turnaround on how often people quit all the time, and a whole bunch of really quality information goes when you lose a solid member of the team. And what people are saying is that Echobox can retain that information no matter who comes and goes, and the continuity of care is all the more strengthened because of it. So again, we're learning every day, and these phrases are still like kind of new to us, and we don't mean to be preaching to the choir, because we're quite often, we're very well aware that we come into this through the side door, and people are in the trenches every day with this. So we're indebted to a lot of people, and we've been grateful for all of the input.
Yeah, and I think one of the examples that we like to use that we learned from a caregiver was there was a gentleman who didn't like to go to bed at all.
Especially if he was told it was bedtime.
Especially if he was told, yeah. And so that was a bit of a struggle. And then I guess one day they were watching TV, and the TV show MASH came on, and he heard that theme song and shot straight up and said, "Oh, MASH is on, time for bed." And so the care team were all making notes and writing it down. And I mean, after that, then, they made sure not to play MASH during the daytime anymore, and then used that as just a cue for him to get that bedtime routine going easier.
That's right. And we've heard a very similar sort of like an ongoing story to that tale is quite often, a caregiver is looking for those key points and looking for those little hints and suggestions. And we have been told that, boy, 3 times a week, a team might call a loved one saying, "Hey, you know what, your mother's just getting a little upset right now. We're hoping that there might be something we can do or play to kind of ease the tension a bit." And of course, the caregiver's trying as hard as they can, up to the point where they're phoning the loved one. The loved one's frustrated because it's the 3rd call they've got that week that, they're trying to do what they can to make sure that their mom or dad is happy and going to bed on time, or whatever the case may be. And more people are saying Echobox can be right in the middle there, not only getting information from the family and storing it, but providing information to the caregivers and really saving time, saving money, saving frustration. And so we're tickled at the idea that this can do that. We're just every day we wake up and see what else we can do and whose hands we can shake, and because we're still a very small fish, but we're doing what we can.
Well, you had mentioned you didn't really like the word tool. I mean, because it just seemed foreign compared to what you were personally trying to apply it to. And yet, I think, tools are so important to us. But I think personally, we think tools are more for work and for more structure. And when we're living life, we don't look at something always structured. So to me, it really helps shift the philosophy of how to live life and what to look for. Because even a lot of the little things you're talking about where staff has had to call family and said, "Hey, do you know anything about this or that?" Family's not really trained, most of them, to look for those little things and realize how important they are. A lot of times we just compartmentalize those things, and we know what to do, but a lot of times we don't even share it with other family members. It's just what we do and how we've read the scene, but we don't share it. And that's really a downfall, for us all not to share those things, because it helps everybody do better, live better, and understand better what's important to the person that we're caring for. And so to me, I think that's a huge kind of culture shift. And it also helps families realize when they do, pass on those little nuggets, or when staff passes on those little nuggets, oh, I didn't even know I should be looking for those things, or that those are helpful to be passed on, because no one's told them that really before. Everyone just has kind of had these struggles on their own to make it work. And yet so many things can be used by multiple people in various situations. And so even here, our focus on Alzheimer's Speaks is primarily dementia and caregiving. but you can use this with your kids, your neighbors, your coworkers. I mean, anybody, because everybody likes to be acknowledged in terms of what makes them happy and comfortable in the world we live in. And so it really is a universal tool that people can use, but we have to teach them kind of the whys and point that out, because I don't think most people understand how important it is to read everybody's multisensory engagements and what kind of effect that has on one another. We kind of summarize and we can go, oh, they're angry. I can tell by their facial expression or something, but we're not going, well, what's making them angry? We just kind of go to they're angry or they're happy, but we're not looking for those trigger points that really can make everybody's life so much easier, to be able to do. So kudos to you guys for that. Now, if somebody is interested in this, is this just for family? I know you had mentioned staff could call, so I'm assuming people could live in community or they could have home health care workers. Can anybody pretty much tap into this to help the one they're caring for?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for families, for care teams, and for care communities.
Yeah, even individual therapists. It's dressed up a little bit more like a business to business right now. Our business coaches, our development team, our research, everything is pointing to kind of making sure you get, a solid foot forward. And so we're trying to entertain all of those balls in the air at once, but really with the focus on senior communities, memory care teams, at-home services, music therapists, recreation therapists, activities directors, life enrichment coordinators. I mean, the list goes on and on. Anyone who wants to, to just get a hold of us and see what we can arrange. We are at the position right now where we are shaking hands, making friends, offering free trials. Those who help us out, give us a little bit of feedback. And then we can, talk about ongoing discounts and all that sort of stuff. Right now we're playing the game where we're tipping into commercialization, and as cold and calculated as that sounds, that's just the path forward for us right now. And the way it's going to work is just, shaking hands, making introductions, and providing it for free to see what happens.
Well, it's very exciting. If you're just tuning in right now, we have been talking with the founders of Echobox, and their website is very simple, echobox.ca, which is not California, it's for Canada. And you can also email them at info@echobox.ca. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and Tim and Tannis are both on LinkedIn. They've got a wonderful little YouTube channel as well. So, feel free to do a little bit more digging on them. I also, before we go back to questions, I always like to just give a shout out to Q for Good. They happen to be my webmasters, and I just think they do a wonderful job. And I know that's a struggle that many people have. So if that's something you need some help with, please reach out to Q for Good. They really love working with socially conscious businesses as well. And I've just found them exceptional to work at or to work with. So Tannis, I'm going to go back to you and say, what's happening right now at headquarters? I know you've got a board meeting coming up right after this. And, a lot of times people don't realize all the things that has to happen behind the scenes to make something that you've created that looks, I don't want to say light and fluffy, but really engaging and stuff and fun. How much work there is behind the scenes.
Yeah, as Tim mentioned before, I think, every day it's a lot of outreach. We are finding different conferences to attend, looking for different grants to apply for, and starting our grassroots movement here in Calgary. So it's a lot of computer work, a lot of research that we tend to do. And it's always on our minds. I mean, with Echobox, it's not something that we just, it's not just a 9 to 5. We'll find ourselves sitting on the couch, watching TV, and we just happen to have our laptops in front of us. And before you know it, we're typing away and doing some more research and, making up another post or reaching out to other people. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding.
Yeah, some of our recent wins is we have an IRAP agent now. It's a kind of a government sponsored agent that's looking out for us and just trying to make some high level introductions and funding opportunities. We're talking with I hope I pronounce his name properly, Eloy Van Hal of Hogwick village tomorrow out of the Netherlands. Really a huge opportunity for us. We'll be sweating bullets, but just trying to, make make a great impression. And yeah, we're having our advisory board meeting today just to try to get a little bit of focus with what's going on in the next couple of weeks, because it just seems like after the holidays, things are percolating and catching fire. So yeah.
Well, that's exciting. It's better than hearing the echoes of, where's everybody and trying to track them down. I think you've built yourself up in a good way and have always been really engaging, and listening to others of, ideas. A lot of times, I see entrepreneurs come out and they just are set in one direction and they're really not listening. They really don't want feedback. And I think that can be a killer in and of itself. You want to stay, of course, on your mission and not get detracted. So you're, meeting someone else's mission and not yours. I mean, you have to be protective of your own lane and stuff. But I think you guys are just so down to earth and gracious in your approach, and not always so black and white business angle wise. And I think that's really appreciated by, 99% of the people out there, because it's coming from the heart. And I think when you develop something from the heart, it's just going to resonate with more people that actually are involved and see the need. And I think that's really, really very precious in and of itself.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Oh, well, thank you. That's really kind.
Nice of you to say. Thank you very much. Yeah, and it's that sort of encouragement that keeps us going, believe it or not, because, we're wet behind the ears every day and we're just trying to make it work.
Well, yeah, and there's always something new that's like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And then you're kind of like, digging a hole, trying to gather all that research and learn about it, or just even the terms that the different entities use within healthcare. I mean, that's a lot to tackle when you start out as just a kind of a regular family member, like explain the lingo, in terms of what's what, can be, really complicated. And then you have the whole behind the scenes tech and delivery system. And like I said in the intro, I mean, this is something everybody could use. I mean, I can see people using this with their own kids, for different variables, even as they go through from being a little toddler to teenage years. It's like, okay, their likes and dislikes have really changed now. We need to tweak this because what we were doing ain't working no more, And that's really, to me, what the heart of Echobox is identifying what works today, and knowing the whys behind that, I think is very, very important, and understanding that a lot of things like reminiscing and, kind of bringing people back, connecting them as let's say dementia progresses, can still be done. Maybe not with recent memories, but maybe old memories. And those never really, they never really go away, and can be heartfelt, and just bring that light back to somebody who sometimes people say, well, their light has faded, or their eyes appear blank. And then all of a sudden you play a song, or you're discussing something, or they see a picture, or maybe it's a smell or something they're eating, and it just takes them back to a really precious place where they feel peaceful and happy. And I know I saw that with my mom many, many times over, during her life. One time, I'll just give you as an example, because a lot of times people think of reminiscing and storytelling, but she was actually eating corn on the cob. And I made the mistake of asking her if I should cut the corn off the cob, because she was missing all of her teeth. I mean, they were really not in great shape. And what was there was all broken and chipped. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why in the world would I have to cut off the corn from her cob? And she just started nibbling away. And there was this essence that rolled off her. That's the only way I can really summarize it, where she was so peaceful and so happy nibbling on that corn. Now, if you looked at the corn when she was done, there was a lot of gaps and a lot of pieces of corn, because she wasn't getting them all.
Right.
And I sat there and I watched, and I remember literally thinking to myself, I wish I was wherever she was, because she was just so peaceful, so peaceful. And I don't know if she was back at the state fair when she was a young kid, or where it was, but the change in her personality and just being as a whole changed in an instant. And I think that's what Echobox has to offer people, is taking those little moments and making them huge, and making them really relevant for other people to see what an impact they can have, and how we can all leverage those moments throughout our lives. And how important it is for all of us to let other people know what we really like and don't like too, because we're not always good at that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I think, people, they want to be seen for who they are. And it's especially important, as you were, talking about your mom, is the idea that, potentially Echobox could be, a voice for the voiceless. If we have those memories that we can refer to, then we can help light those lights up again, and get them back to those happy places.
That's right. It's been called downstream thinking by a couple people. And we thought, oh, yeah, of course, because this doesn't all happen at once. You don't enter all the information at once. And like you're saying, yeah, it's just those simple things. When I picture Tannis or myself or my parents, I would want their caregivers, or the people that are surrounding them, to know what makes them tick and what they love about life. I mean, it's just basic math. I would love my mom or father, my mother or father's caregivers to know that, play this music, or talk about this sports team, or why don't, on a special occasion, make this meal, or that sort of thing. It seems pretty simple, but somehow we're provided the opportunity to put Echobox right in that position. And so that's what we'll be trying to do.
I think a lot of times we unconsciously kind of know these things, but in this busy world, we don't put them into play. We're just pushing through to the next thing. And this makes us really say, we can do this better, and we're going to create a better moment for all of us, not just the person we're caring for, but all of us, and teach us what's important in life. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, you can't take it with you. And I know, as my mom declined with her disease as it progressed, it was none of the big flashy stuff. It was all the little teeny things of what made her smile, what made her giggle, what made her eyes light up. Because all of those things still happen, even when she wasn't talking and was in very end stages. Those things still occur if we draw them out and if we allow them to happen. And to me, those are the precious moments that lift me up way after she's gone, of we were connected. And I think we've lost a lot of our connectivity through the years, especially in commercial jobs. We've kind of stripped the teams down. We talk about the teams, but the teams, in my opinion, don't exist in most places like they used to, where people are really sharing important things and kind of feeling like family, and treating each other like family. And that could be a good or a bad thing, depending on your family, I suppose. But I mean, it's that richness of everybody matters, and I think we've just gotten so task oriented that we've been pushed more by how we are supervised and how we are graded by what we got done, not how we got it done. And the how, to me, is absolutely critical, because the hows tell us, why it's important to a person and what's working and what's not. And when we drop that ball, we drop the quality of care, in my opinion. If you're a family or a friend caregiver, or if you're a professional caregiver, I think it just makes such a huge difference. And I think this tool can also, for commercial use, if it's home care or if it's, activities, senior living, whatever, I think it can help you retain a team that doesn't want to leave, because you're helping them build relationships and understand what makes our relationships important, and acknowledging. And again, I think a lot of that has gone by the wayside and gotten so task oriented that people just leave because they don't feel connected. I think back to when I was 20, I could have left a job way earlier, but I loved who I worked for and who I worked with. And so I stayed, even though I didn't think the company was like treating us all the best. I still stayed. Today, they don't do that. They're just out, and they're walking away. And so I think I think Echobox is a great tool for people to use and leverage, but more so, I think it's a great teacher of what's important in all our lives.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we always have our head kind of buried in the sand or down the mine shaft and trying to work on this. And just to hear those things, it means a lot. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do in a very simple way, is just the simple things, and how we can all benefit from that. And I mean, if it can benefit seniors and caregivers and kind of lift a community even just a tiny bit, so that it's a better place to live and a better place to work, then would we ever sleep well at night?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's what we're in this for sure.
The other thing that I do want to mention is, I think of like my grandkids, and they're from 3 to 14, but they could all participate in identifying precious moments of what would make somebody happy. Even the 3-year-old would know this picture grandma or grandpa would like, or whatever it might be, or want to make a video for them to make them smile. Maybe it's a little play, or maybe it's gymnastics, or maybe it's who knows what, their favorite jokes. But they can be part even at that very young age, because they know what joy is, and they know what someone would like and what it would bring a smile to their face, as well as a teenager who a lot of times they can identify, of course, those things, but their thinking is so out of the box compared to a lot of us older people. And they get really creative in terms of what is possible. And I think that that's really cool as well. And then there's people like me in their 60s and 70s and stuff that go, even I can do this, even though it's technology based, So it's a little bit of everyone. And the delivery, to the person you're caring for is quite simple as well, for them to be able to view, or if they're still able to read or listen to music or whatever it might be. Some will be able to go through it on their own, and others might need assistance and guidance as a tool when they're visiting. And that's all wonderful. So a lot of variety there. which I think is really cool.
Yeah. We did design it to be as simple to use as we possibly could so that it was easy for everyone, anybody to use.
And the dominoes continue to fall. Special needs children, and those that are, whether it's Huntington's, ALS, there's so many different things and so many different challenges that Echobox can be applied. And so families can make sure that, their loved one, regardless of age, really doesn't have to be a senior care thing, is well represented, not just while they have to make ends meet on their day-to-day and their schedule, but down the road, thinking years down the line, if they have an Echobox to represent that loved one that can't represent them as well as you can while you're in their presence, then at least Echobox can kind of hold the torch for them too. So we can't wait to hear the next bit of insight. I think one of the most recent ones was First Nations and oral histories. And whether we can kind of capture traditions and that sort of thing. And so, it's just, we are happy to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think, joy and feeling accepted, feeling part of, everybody wants that. So there is no limitations. And that's really what Echobox does. It says you matter. And we've noticed these things about you. And we want to share them with you because we want to be part of that joy. We want to be part of that inclusivity. And you matter to me. And I mean, I look at the world the way we are today, and I'm thinking we need way more than this. Way more of this, I should say, than this. We need way more of this in our world because we are falling flat in a lot of areas. And if someone's going even into the doctor and is anxious about that, Echobox would have something on there, most likely that's going to calm them down and make them feel better. And maybe you could get the doctor to even create a memory while you're in there, for the next appointment where it won't be so scary. I mean, the uses are absolutely endless. And so I can't thank you enough for, following, seeing the transformation happen by that one man hearing that voice and how that changed his life and taking that to many different levels to get to where you are right now and continuing to pursue that. Is there anything you want to share, that's on the platform today that you're working on for 2026 and into the future?
I guess primarily we're heading towards marketing. We're heading towards, getting the word out there. And in the time between now and then, we really want to entertain as many free trials as we can, as many conversations as we can, learn more, because we don't want to wait until it's too late. Of course, we have to push it out the door, but we always feel like there's more to learn. And we want to get some feedback from whoever might be willing to, play around with it and let us know what they think. So, whether that's getting a hold of us through our website or through email or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever it might be, please don't be shy. We're only around to make friends. We'll set you up for success. And, I don't know anything. What do you think?
No, that sounds good. I think that's where we're at right now.
What else we could do? We're on the spot here. What else? What else? But I think that's about it. We just want to, just chat with people and keep it moving.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us today. For our audience, I always say be a giver of hope. Like, click, and share. Join us on this mission to get information out to people in need. A lot of those people in your own sphere might not even know they need it yet because they don't know it exists. And how do you go after something when you don't even know it's a thought that maybe someone's created something like this? And that's the exciting thing, is there's so many resources out there that people don't know, but people tend to grab a hold of them when they come from a trusted source, and you would be there. So, help them, really kind of blow up Echobox and get it out there. And it takes no time, very little time, and it costs you absolutely no money to like, click, and share. But it can really make a big impact in a lot of people's lives and give them some hope. And who doesn't need that? Now, again, you can go to their website, which is echobox.ca, or you can email them at info@echobox.ca. .ca. You can find them on Facebook as Echobox Memory Vaults. They are on Instagram as Echobox Mail Vault Ltd. You can find Tim and Tannis both on LinkedIn. And then they have a YouTube page as well, Echobox Memory Vault 416. So no excuse not to reach out to them. And we'll have this in our notes as well. Thanks, everyone. And again, Tim and Tannis, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lori. It was a privilege to chat with you again.
Our pleasure.
Well, I hope you got as much out of that conversation as I did. I just love talking with people who are driven by passion to make a difference. And I think that really came across with Tim and Tannis. What their goal is to really make the world a better place, make everybody feel valued and noticed and accepted and create joyful moments. What's wrong with that? Not a thing. Absolutely not a thing. So watch for them. Feel free to go ahead and follow them. And again, check out Alzheimer Speaks for our free educational resources and Dementia Map, our global resource directory as well. Talk soon, everyone. Bye now.
Attention seniors. Are you looking for a community that offers incredible benefits and stands up for your values? Look no further than AMAC. With an AMAC membership, you'll enjoy exclusive discounts on insurance, travel, dining, and shopping. Stay informed with 6 issues a year of our award-winning AMAC magazine, delivering trusted news and valuable insights. But that's not all. AMAC is committed to defending America's future by directly bringing the voices of our more than 2 million members to our elected officials. Join a community that cares about your needs and your values. For a limited time, we're offering a 1-year membership for only $1. Yes, just $1 for a year of incredible benefits and advocacy. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and join AMAC today. Visit amac.us/join now. That's amac.us/join now.